Tonight on the WDW Fan Zone Show, we continue on our journey going through Disney Springs and the resorts and letting you know if you're a first-time or first-time, long-time vacation to Walt Disney World, the best places to eat that might fit your needs and your family. And we're going to get into it in a moment. As I first introduced John Maloney, Darlene Heggie, and Kurt, I am Stuart Sternberg. All right, let's start off this week. Now, we did the parks last week. We finished them, and I didn't honestly, I did not anticipate doing a second show or part two to the show because I thought we'd fit everything, but we didn't for whatever reason. So we're happy to be back with part two. And I think we'll start off with Disney Springs. And let's try to stay away from the chain restaurants unless you think it might be something that someone might not have in their hometown that they might want to go for, and we'll go from there. So Disney Springs, I know what Kurt's going to say.
Well, if we're talking a sit-down restaurant,
it could be sit-down
like
or
table service,
or quick service.
Well, for a table service, I'm going to Art Smith Homecoming. I don't know if that's really considered a big franchise. I
don't think it is.
Know.
I don't believe it is.
I don't believe it is either. But that seems to be our go-to place. We've looked at the menu of several other places. That seems to be the place for table service that we really enjoy going to. We know it's good service and we know it's good food.
You know, I think based on the kind of food they offer there, I think that would be a good choice for a first timer who's going to Walt Disney World if they're going to Disney Springs for a meal. It's not. There are places that are more expensive, fancier, but I think this would kind of groups most people's needs together because of the menu there.
Right.
All right, John, did you have anything different?
I have a few, and so I think it's also helpful to talk a little bit about why we go to Disney Springs for dinner. So I personally, with my family, we don't tend to eat a lot at Disney Springs unless we're going to Disney Springs for a particular reason, like to do a meetup with somebody, or there's an event going on down there, or we want to go off and do some shopping or something like that. So typically when we go to Disney Springs, we're not doing a sit-down restaurant. It's not that we haven't, but we typically don't. So I'm going to say that I think a good place for families who are similar to us, you're there for whatever reason. Maybe you just want to meet up with somebody to have a nice, relaxing dinner, but kind of casual. So in that casual vein, I like the Polite Pig.
Mm-hmm.
It's got excellent food. It's certainly popular, but you don't have to worry about making. Well, can you make a reservation at the Polite Pig?
I don't believe you can.
I didn't think so.
We never did.
I didn't think you could. So
yeah, I like that would have been my number one choice.
So yeah, you don't have to make a reservation. They have some outdoor dining there as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's very comfortable, and the food is just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, Darlene.
Well, it depends on who I have here or who's coming or who's coming to visit. But if I'm doing children sit down with me, one of mine and my husband's favorites is T-Rex or Rainforest.
Well, remember, it's not your favorite.
Well, no, but this is what I'm saying. If you want to do something for children, because a lot of people come with children.
Yes,
those are
absolutely.
themed for children.
Yes.
More than
now
Edison or
okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll get to the Edison in a minute.
But if I think another place that's really good to
go, I just want to mention something too. Rainforest. If you have a rainforest in your hometown, I would not go there when you come to Disney World. You want to try different things.
A lot of states don't have rainforest or T-Rex.
Yeah, we had 3 or 4 of them. They've shut down through the years, and quite honestly, the menu that they had on them weren't conducive to children really enjoying it. That whole that bread that they used, it was like a whole grain bread with extra little seeds in there and stuff. My kids used to just take the bread, toss it aside, and they just wanted to eat only the meat portion of that because they just didn't like the texture. It was, unless they've changed that, they didn't enjoy that at all when they were kids. And we used to take field trips there, and most of the kids were doing the same thing. They just weren't. They didn't enjoy it. That was Rainforest. That wasn't T-Rex. We've never been at the T-Rex.
Yeah, sorry, Darlene, go ahead.
Okay. Another place that I think is really good if you're into sports or anything, and you want to catch different things, the City Works is very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have a very large menu, and if you enjoy beers and stuff, they have a huge selection of beer.
Yeah. Now, John took my number 1 place for families coming for the first time. Kurt took my number 2 place. Even though my first choice would be Polite Pig, I think a lot of people would pick Chef Art Smith's over Polite Pig. And I think both are good in different ways. I didn't have a third choice on my list because for me, that was it. I haven't eaten in a lot of places, and I've eaten at Muramoto. I've eaten at Steakhouse. I forgot the name of it offhand. And I think those are STK. Yeah. STK is a chain also. So I would never recommend that. I also thought it was good, but overpriced for the pricing on the menu. Muramoto is very good, but it's pricey. You can find Japanese restaurants in most states and cities that are a lot more reasonable than that, but the food is very good there. Now, the Edison, never, ever go to the Edison. It's an unusual menu that overpriced, and the quality is not as good as the other restaurants there. I hate to say it, but I would never recommend the Edison to anyone, ever. I've been there once, and I'll never go again.
You're not the only local that's told me that before.
Oh, God. It's just... There are very few restaurants I don't like on Disney property. That's one of them.
What about Raglan Road?
Oh, I forgot about Raglan Road.
Cooks in
Okay.
Dublin.
You know what?
That's the takeout portion of it.
You know, I don't know if that's a good atmosphere for young children.
Right.
But if you've got
Kind of crowded.
tweens, teens, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's
Especially
it's
during
good.
the St. Patrick's Day. They do a lot of heavy Irish entertainment.
Yeah, the entertainment there is always great.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I was there, we were out eating outside with a threatening thunderstorm, and we just finished paying when the skies opened up.
Oh, wow. Aren't you lucky?
Yeah, very lucky.
Stuart, I was surprised you didn't mention Chicken Guy.
We haven't gotten to counter service yet.
Okay. Well, Polite Pig isn't really counter service, or is counter service.
No, I don't think so. I think of it more of a sit down.
Yeah, because they do bring you your food.
Yeah. No, you pick it up, don't you?
No, they bring it to you.
I don't remember that.
Where?
They list it as
You're right. They give you
they list it as quick service / table service.
Right.
I would consider it table service only because they do bring it to you. You know,
but you pay ahead of time.
It's a little more refined than the Chicken Guy.
It is. It's just that you order your food ahead of time. You go sit down, put your number down, and they bring you everything to you. You've already paid, so you're not tipping or anything like that, if I remember correctly.
You know, when I think of quick service, I think of places like the Chicken Guy there, even Blaze Pizza, which I wouldn't mention Blaze Pizza during this because they're all over the place.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Earl's Sandwich is another place that, you know, I would only mention it if you're budget conscious and you don't have one in your hometown.
There's not a lot out there.
No,
they're more of an East Coast thing.
not.
There's not a lot. You can't go Midwest.
But now that I've spilled the beans on everything, let's go with John and see what he says. Actually, first, John, did you have any other sit-down restaurants you'd recommend?
So I actually have something that's a little different. Well, there's two. So it's It's definitely sit down, but it's so I'm going to say AMC 24 dine-in, where if you want to take your family out to see a movie and combine it with dinner, you can sit down, eat part of your dinner, and have them bring out the rest to you while you're watching a movie. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting experience that I think could work for some families.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, I think it could. It depends on how much time you've got at Disney World. I don't want to say the parks, but at Disney World or in the area.
Well, right, which all goes down, comes down to the reason, what are you doing in Disney Springs in the first place? Are you there because you've got time to spend and you
Right.
want to see it all? Are you there just for dinner and then you got to get back somewhere?
Or maybe the park you were at that day closed early and you
True,
want something
true.
to do.
Correct.
You could also go to what's the name of the bowling alley there?
Splitsville.
Splitsville.
That was the other one I was thinking, very similar. You get activity along with the meal.
Yeah. Yep.
The food
And that's
wasn't
a
as
fun
good
family.
as I've had before.
I haven't eaten there, so I can't say.
Mm-mm.
I keep wanting to try it, but I just never get the time.
I ate there before with some other friends, and the food was great. The
Mhm.
second time I had it, it wasn't as good.
Isn't it interesting? We expect so much from restaurants on Disney property that even if we have a great meal once or twice, then we go back another time and
Mhm.
it's just okay. We don't go back for a while.
Well,
We move on.
You
Yeah.
darn locals.
but at least
It's
you
not just
have
locals. It's
you
not
have
just
the choice. That's the great thing. You have so many
Right.
choices.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry, John. You were anything else to add to that, or do you want to go to the quick service?
Nope, that was it.
All right. And what would be your choice for a quick service? Your top choice?
Mine? Well, you actually said what I was going to say, and that
Incredible.
was Earl of Sandwich. Earl of Sandwich, if you just want some good food and you want it fast, if you have it at home, like you say, maybe that wouldn't be your choice. But how many people do we know that go to Earl of Sandwich in Disney Springs?
There's a lot.
I do.
The only one out of this group would be Lottie.
Yeah, that's right. She's the only one who won't go there. Yeah. Unfortunately,
Unless
Lon's
it's
not
for
one.
breakfast before her marathon or
Races.
right after her marathon.
All right, Kurt, how about yourself?
Since he took that one, I'm going to take Deluxe Burger. They make a tasty sandwich, and their chicken sandwich is pretty darn good too. And they got all the different sauces. What do they have? Like 6 different sauces to choose from. They make a tasty burger.
Darlene?
Pizza Ponte, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
It's nice, it's quick, and the slices are huge.
Yeah.
So, like, if you
They're
have
expensive,
kids,
though.
pardon?
the slices are expensive.
Well, it's a good slice, though.
Yes,
and
it is.
worth the price.
And
I mean,
I'm
the
with-
slices are huge. You could split one between 2 kids, like little kids. You could split one slice.
And something else to keep in mind if you're looking for good pizza in Florida in general, that's an excellent choice if you're outside the parks. The only one I would recommend inside the parks would be Via Napoli. But outside the parks, that's a great choice. I'm surprised nobody picked this. I mentioned it before, the Chicken Guy. Chicken Guy is like
I
my
left it for
numero uno place.
I
to go.
left it for you
Well,
because
thank
we
you.
like the burger place. So Deluxe Burger.
And anybody else have any others?
Well, wait, I have a question. Have you been there since they expanded?
Yeah, I have.
How is it? Because, a lot of people don't know it expanded.
It's still crazy.
Yeah, really.
I wish they would have expanded the area where you order where you order the food and pick your food up. I think it's still very tight there. I just think it's already outgrown even the expanded area. But I love the food.
I
So I'll
know.
continue to go back and spend time on that line and squeeze myself through the line.
So before we leave Disney Springs, can we talk snacks?
Why? That's not part
Why?
of the show.
Why? Because it's still food.
But it's not part of what we're doing.
But
We'll say that for another show. I know you want to bring up Gideon's.
Oh, come on. It's a half pound. It's a half-pound bundle of joy.
All right, let's go to the resorts. I always recommend to people, if you have a car, no, seriously, if you have a car and you don't need to go to Gideon's and Disney Springs, go to the one in Orlando. There's no line, and it's actually a little bit cheaper.
I get it, but the time it would
Okay,
take
seriously, let's go to the resorts. We'll save this for another
the time it would take to drive to Orlando and come back.
Okay, we're going to the resorts. Let's start with the which resort? Let's start with the value resorts.
Oh, I don't know much about the value resorts, so I'm going to leave that to you guys.
Okay.
I go to the value resorts all the time, and this comes down to, again, some of the reasons why at least I do go to the resorts for dinner, and one of the reasons is just to be someplace different, get out of the parks, or even go to visit a resort and have a reason to do it. But as far as I think my favorite counter service and the overall food court is the landscape of flavors over at Art of Animation. And it's very big. It's got lots of choices. So you got a family that's really important. And I think that's why they have such a good food court there, is because they cater to families and they have lots of different options so that parents and kids can get different things. You can get a full meal, you can get chicken nuggets or burgers or whatever.
Yeah. I'm Kirk, go ahead.
I really like going over to the Roaring Forks over at Wilderness Lodge. It's a nice little quick service there. They got a wide variety of food. It's huge portions at an affordable price.
Mm-hmm.
We like going over the Roaring Forks.
Now, is Wilderness Lodge considered a value resort?
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the value resort part. This is something else that happened.
Sorry,
missed that altogether. I was trying to deal with something else that happened.
I thought he was going to say something, and he didn't. So
I was dealing with something else. I'm sorry. Value resorts, I don't know, just everything pop over there, whatever that is. Theirs is nice too. They've even got the and everything in their dining for the value. You've got the little Viewmaster for the secret menu.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I always like Pop Century's food court and any of the All Stars, but I prefer Pop Century just a little bit more because it's a little newer. I just like the setup a little bit better, but the food, it's a wide variety of food. It's decent. I kind of like it, and I would recommend anybody staying at a value resort to have at least one, to have breakfast there for sure, and to have one or two of your meals there, whether it's lunch if you come back early from the parks or dinner if you go back late to the parks. Just try to fit it in. It's a nice change than having to deal with the hustle and bustle in the parks. Although there could be a lot of hustle and bustle in the resorts too. Darling, I'm sorry, did I skip? Oh, you said you weren't familiar with them.
Well, yeah, I only ate once at the Art of Animation, Cars, in the Cars, one area, and that was it. And the food was good, but yeah, I can't really comment on which one would be better.
And, for anybody who's listening out there who is coming for the first time, you're staying at a value resort, a lot of the food courts there are better than the moderate and the deluxe resorts. So you have a better selection there than some of those. So that's one advantage I think the value resorts have over the others. All right, we'll get back to the sit-down restaurants later because I know there aren't any in the value resorts really. Yeah. Moderate resorts. I have one favorite, but I'm going to hold it, and I'm sure one of you guys will mention it. Quick service and moderates.
Well, I'd go to that Riverside Mill food court over in Port Orleans French Quarter. That's Riverside, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't find it. It's the resort that's actually over on French Quarter. that has the beignets.
Yes, that was
So-
my number one choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's an awesome one. I
Yep.
just now my system's rolling slowly for opening up what it's called. It's like the old mill or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but if you're staying at the French Quarter, there's only one food court there. So whatever it is there, whatever the name of it is, I'm not sure.
there's only
Kurt's
the
absolutely
one.
right. There's a great selection. The food's really good. And the menu changes a little bit here and there.
Mm-hmm.
John.
Well, Riverside was where I was going to go as well, but I also like going over to Coronado Springs,
Mhm.
and
Never been there.
so, and we've talked before about why go to a moderate resort for dinner if you're not staying there. So we've done it again just for something to do, someplace different to eat. You could eat counter service lots of places. It gives you a different surroundings and get a chance to walk around a resort. So certainly Coronado Springs is a big place if you just want to walk around after you're done, walk your food off. But that's another one. One of my favorites is over at the Riverside though.
All right, Darlene.
Well, that was my number one, was the Riverside as well, because we loved staying there. So we stayed there multiple times. But another really nice food court that I think people would enjoy is the Caribbean Beach Resort.
Thank you for mentioning. That was what I would have said next. Kurt took my number one and you took my number two. Go ahead.
No, they have a very nice selection of stuff,
Yeah.
and they sometimes have different resort mugs there than anybody else has, I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I think for me it's the French Quarter, and I've never been to Riverside, so I can't count Riverside.
Yeah,
So for me,
Riverside
it's
is
French
really
Quarter
nice.
and or Coronado Springs. So one would be French Quarter for me, two would be Caribbean Beach of the ones I've been to.
By the way, I believe it's called the Sasagula Float Works and Food
Yes,
Factory.
it is.
There you go.
That's it. Thank you, Kurt.
Mhm.
All right, so we're not really going to find. I think Coronado Springs does have a sit-down restaurant. I'm not sure of that. So does Caribbean Beach.
They
Coronado
Riverside
Springs does.
too.
Yeah. And I think Caribbean Beach does also. I forgot the name of it at Caribbean Beach.
Sebastian's.
Yeah, has that gotten any better?
That
I know
makes sense.
years ago there were a lot of complaints from Disney fans.
My cousins ate there and they did enjoy it.
Okay. Anybody want to? Now I'm going to keep out of this because I've never really eaten at a sit-down restaurant at a moderate resort. But if anybody has, please feel free to.
Well,
mention-
Toledo is at Coronado Springs, but it's a reminder of Coronado Springs is really two different resorts. So you've got the original sections of Coronado Springs, but then you've also got the tower.
Now, is the tower considered deluxe resort or is it considered moderate?
The whole resort is considered moderate.
Okay, so they
But
want
it's a work resort. It's like where they go and have big meetings
Conventions.
and everything else. It's a
Right.
convention resort.
right, a convention.
And that's why they have the sit-down restaurant. And that's why they've got
Yeah.
everything else and expanded that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard good things about Toledo. I haven't eaten there yet, though.
Toledo's very good. It's similar in feel to a degree to Topolino's Terrace, where you're up at the top of a tower and you've got a good view. So
Is that something that you think would be good for a first-time family with young children?
I think you've got to be the right kind of family. So it's definitely a more refined taste. So unless your kids are used to doing that, I don't know that it would be good for a lot of families.
Okay, that's fair. Wilderness Lodge, Whispering Canyon Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Numero
That's
uno.
awesome.
Numero uno on my list.
Just make sure you order ketchup.
Yeah. Don't
Just
tell
saying.
them why. Don't tell them why, because I think it's an experience that they should have to go through and learn for themselves.
Oh, I agree. And a refill. Make sure you keep asking. For
I was
refills as well.
disappointed with the refills. I was there a couple of weeks ago, and we ordered. I think we were on our third refill, and nothing changed.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. We had a
That's too bad.
great cast member who was serving, server. Absolutely great. I forgot his name, but he was wonderful. But the mason jars did not get bigger.
Wow.
Wow.
Now,
Like I
maybe-
said, Roaring Fork at that location, though. I mean, the meals are $14.99 or less, and a couple of us had to take it home for leftovers. The portions were huge.
Yeah. Oh, the skillet. By the way, the skillet sizes have gotten a little smaller. 'Cause
Not
they don't,
right.
they don't want you to share anymore. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's move to the deluxe resorts.
Well, that was a deluxe resort.
Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, it's a deluxe resort.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know why I thought it was Monarch, but okay, I stand corrected.
No.
So with
It's
that,
that and Animal Kingdom are the two affordable deluxe resorts because
Yeah.
they're on the outskirts. They're not on the.
More affordable, yes.
Were
They're
you
more
thinking
affordable.
of Fort Wilderness, maybe?
well, Trails End's not there anymore, but you're right, it could have been.
Yeah, I think you were,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Well, I'm glad you guys pointed that out because I'm old, I forget things, and
Yeah. It's our favorite deluxe resort. That's how I know it's the deluxe.
yeah. All right, John.
You're talking deluxe?
Yeah, deluxe.
Yeah. So I kind of
Well,
broke.
we're not going to do quick service and deluxe because outside of the one Kurt mentioned, I don't think there's much. Oh wait, no, there is. There is.
Oh, I disagree. I disagree.
Yeah, the Polynesian. Yeah,
I think there's plenty of good quick service in the deluxe, but
yeah.
Me too.
All right.
I broke things down further and into things like buffets and character meals. But for deluxe, what I think my go-to for a counter service is Captain Cook's at the Polynesian.
Yep.
It's got some of the food that is not so typical. And I see lots of families in Captain Cook's. It's always pretty hopping in there. And they've got some outdoor seating as well. And
Tonga toast.
Tonga toast.
Yes, Tonga toast.
yeah. So it's nice to leave the Magic Kingdom sometimes to go somewhere else to take a break and maybe get a chance to try something different. So if you're not staying at the Polynesian, one of the challenges you have to go someplace like the Polynesian is you can't just drive up to the Polynesian and say, I want to go have lunch at Captain Cook's. You have to have a reservation somewhere to go in. But if you're at the Magic Kingdom already, you could take the monorail, you could take a boat, you could technically even walk over. So
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to take your whole family on a walk, but go over, see the Polynesian, look around. You could even watch the fireworks from the beach there in the evening, or you can watch the electrical light pageant. So.
Mhm. Yeah, good. Kurt.
He took mine.
Oh,
There's
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not a huge fan of the quick service dining over at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I've never eaten at the other than what we talked about at Wilderness Lodge. We went to Wilderness Lodge this year and we were staying at Bay Lake Tower because the food was that much better at Wilderness Lodge than is over at the Contemporary for quick service.
I want to say something about the Contemporary quick service. It was better during the height of COVID than it is now.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't know what happened there.
Contempo Cafe.
Yeah, it's like, come on,
Yeah,
give me a break there. That's it's like that's Disney cheaping out. Pardon my.
We ate there one night, and two of us had the chicken sandwich, and it was like we got the wrong cut of chicken. It was, when you're biting into it, it was rubbery, like you're chewing rubber bands. It was horrible.
I wouldn't go as far as saying the food was horrible. It's just you're in a deluxe resort. Don't give me McDonald's in a deluxe resort.
Well, this really was horrible. We both said the same
Wow.
thing. We couldn't finish our sandwiches.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning
So-
that to me. I wouldn't call. So I have not had a horrible experience there, but
Right.
like I said, the contemporary resort. I'm expecting more than McDonald's like food, and I like McDonald's, so don't get me wrong.
Right.
Yeah, Darlene, did you have any choice that wasn't mentioned?
Yes. If you can get over to the beach club, their quick service is very nice, and you can actually, if you're in that area, the Boardwalk Bakery is over there too that you can go to. That's a quick service.
They have sandwiches there. Yep.
They do, and breakfast items.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that area's got a little, like, if you're staying on property over in that area, or if you can get over there, that's a very good place to go.
Yeah, John took mine. I mean, Captain's and Kirk. So three of us would have picked Captain Cook's.
Well, I would have
Yeah.
picked it too,
Oh,
but you guys already took it.
Yeah,
I like the Tonga toast.
that's like far and above all the other quick service places and the
By
deluxe.
the way, it's not considered a quick service, but you can order the food and bring it back to your room. I was talking with my friend about this. He said Steakhouse 71 serves a really, really, really good steak, but it's just feels weird with plastic silverware trying to cut into a piece of steak that's an inch thick.
Yeah.
But he said it's an awesome tasting steak for what you're paying for it. It was a really good steak, he said. So he does recommend
good.
Steakhouse 71.
Yeah,
Again, couldn't get reservations though. You just had to order a carry out.
I've had people tell me that Steakhouse 71, that their favorite burger they've ever had came from that restaurant.
I've heard that as well.
I've only had
lunchtime menu.
breakfast, so and I get the.
I have not eaten there yet. I'll get there eventually, but I've not eaten.
It's good. I've eaten breakfast and lunch, and I do like the breakfast.
Now, John, you said you also broke your list down to buffets. So, what kid doesn't like a certain buffet in a certain resort that begins with a C?
You're talking about
Chef Mickey's.
Chef Mickey's, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, quality of food leaves a little bit to be desired, but you know what? If you're looking for that character experience with your kids, go there, enjoy. Don't worry about the food. It's the atmosphere and the interaction with the characters that is the most important.
Yeah. And you're there in the atrium of the Contemporary, and the kids can see the monorails go by, and they know how close they are to Magic Kingdom.
Apparently, we're putting Darlene to sleep.
Yes.
Well, and
I
you
slept
also
terribly last night.
Friends just went there. They say that's the one place where you get the most bang for your buck. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Pluto, and I believe Chip and Dale, and I think even Goofy. You get a lot of characters there. There's a lot of character interaction at that location.
Yeah, and it's noisy.
It is noisy.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you have to be able to deal with noise. Any other buffets that anybody wants to mention? Isn't there another one? Oh God, I've never
There's
eaten.
a lot of character places,
There's a lot of
and
character
some of the character restaurants or some of the character meals are breakfast, like
Right.
at Ohana, the Lilo and Stitch Ohana Best Friends breakfast.
You know, I can tell you, my kids when they were little loved going to Ohana, and I think that would be a great experience for any family, no matter how young or old your kids are. But if they're picky eaters, you might have a little bit of an issue. But if they're not picky eaters, it's a great place to go.
Yeah, hard to get
Do
in.
they have the Tonga toast?
You know what? I don't know.
I'm asking because I honestly don't know. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
like
either. I've never.
I'd be there.
I don't know. It's usually it's fixed price, if I remember right, and it's you get the mashed potatoes, you get certain meats.
Ohana?
Yeah, Ohana. Yeah.
No, no, Kona. Kona Cafe, you get Tonga toast.
That's right.
Right, but I didn't know if because it was a breakfast meal, if they had it available.
No.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, Darlene. That's right, it's a Kona.
I've never had Tonga toast.
It's quite tasty.
It is. It's very filling too.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, if you've got two kids that want it, split it with them if they're young kids.
Yeah.
Any other restaurants you want to mention?
For quick service?
Quick service, sit down or otherwise. In the
Well,
resorts.
I did quick service at the Kona sushi bar. That was kind of quick service. Sat down, they made me my sushi, and I was up and I
You're out
left.
of it. Yeah. Yeah, there are quite. Oh, isn't Kona the one where you can order at the bar? You can also order off the menu, and they'll bring it to you, and that's yeah.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that we haven't.
Well,
mentioned.
we haven't talked about Boma.
Oh crap! You're right.
Well, that's a sit. Oh, that's a
And I was
buffet.
there a month or so ago. How do I forget? How can I forget?
Talk
that?
about
I just had a
buffets. Talk about buffets. And I mean,
I
they
still
have
have never
a
been there.
great dinner buffet. They've got a great breakfast buffet. Families
Sanaa's
love.
there too.
Pardon me?
Sanaa's in the same building.
So, well, no.
Oh,
That's in Kidani.
No, Sanaa's in Kidani Village.
I don't know that I would recommend Boma for a first-time family. I'm not sure. It would depend on.
You see so many of them there, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's plenty of choices for children that they don't really advertise, but they have now.
Right.
And the only reason I might say I might not recommend that restaurant because if your kids are, and again, I go with picky eaters. If your kids are picky eaters, you're spending a lot of money for a kid who's not probably going to eat anything more than the macaroni and cheese that's there.
Yeah. I think that's going to be generally true for any buffet restaurant in Walt Disney World.
Yes, I agree. I
You're
agree.
paying for the choices. You're paying for the
Yep.
amount of food. And if they're picky, you're likely not going to get your money's worth.
Yeah. Well, a recommendation I make if you have picky eaters, stick with quick service.
Correct.
True.
Yeah.
I know
That's the best way to get your money's worth.
Oh yeah, I know we did with our kids. You're not eating off the children's menu. You're picking something, and you're gonna like it, and they did. They did. Yeah, I can't.
Well, that's
believe
it. We did the Hoop-de-Doo review one time, and my son was overwhelmed. He's like, "No." They're like, "Well, how about a bowl of Cheerios?" He's like, "Okay." So you're paying all that money, like basically $15.99 when they're little kids for a bowl of Cheerios.
Well, a lot of complain about that with the Be Our Guest
Yeah.
restaurant.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I would recommend to any family going to any restaurant, know what your kids want before you go, and look at the prices on the menu. You don't want to spend $15 for something that will cost you $2 or $3 in a local supermarket. Just not
Right.
worth it.
Well, and that's it. You can buy a box of 15 of those
Yep.
not the Lunchables, the Smucker's Uncrustables
Mhm.
for like $8 and put them in your backpack and just keep them frozen. Put them in your backpack. They'll thaw out by the time it's lunchtime.
Yep.
And just eat that because you can eat that they don't care if you're eating that in the park versus what are they, $7.99 now or something like that?
No, I'm not sure. It's been a long time since we've had pie.
It's pricey for one of those. So
Yeah.
just buy the box.
Yeah, and even though the show is like geared towards the part 1 and part 2 towards first-time families, I think this could help out anybody who's going to Walt Disney World, whether you're there first time, long time, go every year. And I hope you enjoyed it. And Kurt, to what you had mentioned before, I promise you, soon we will do a show on desserts in the park.
That's fine. Just don't mute me. Rudest thing you've done to me yet on this show is mute me in the middle of that because I disagreed with you. Don't do that.
Don't do what? Mute you like this?
Oh gosh.
I didn't know. Now, something I didn't know that I learned something tonight, though. I didn't know that if I mute you, you can't unmute yourself because Kirk couldn't unmute himself before.
No, it's the rudest thing you've ever done to me. Don't do it again, please.
Okay.
So, I've never been that angry before at you. Sorry. Raise my grievance.
Okay, so if we go to one of the other quick services that I can think of that my family has gone to with their friends is the one at the Wilderness, or not, at the Fort Wilderness Lodge. That one they really enjoy. Now I don't know what they're going to do now that they're redesigning Fort Wilderness.
Well, what do you mean by redesigning Fort Wilderness? They're turning the cabins into Disney Vacation Club, but what are they doing to actual Fort Wilderness?
They might well, with it being a DVC, they might have different food venue.
Trails End is going to be like one of those places where you can walk in and just grab and go. Mm-hmm. That's my understanding. Okay. The restaurant's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The reason why I bring that up is, like Kidani Village doesn't have any quick service. They've only got their sit-down restaurants, and Bay Lake Tower has 0 restaurants. You got to go to the Contemporary for them. So just because they're building something new, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to change everything with the dining there just because it's becoming DVC. That's why I was asking. I didn't know if you'd heard something.
I'm wondering if Disney knows who's coming and where they're going and what their likes and dislikes are in terms of food. So they, the reason Trails End is no longer there is because it wasn't being utilized to Disney's satisfaction. It was one
chuck wagon.
It's not like it's an easy place to get to either if you don't have a car.
And you have to think, people that are camping out, they're probably cooking their own food.
Well, that's the thing. You got your trailer.
Yeah.
Now, if you got a campsite, not necessarily. Depending on what you want to do that. But yeah, if you got your trailer, everyone that's at Fort Wilderness has a vehicle. Because that's how they got there. Yep. You're not going by bus and going to Fort Wilderness.
Yeah, very true.
And they really shut down. It was hard for us to even get into Wilderness Lodge to go and eat there. They had to see our food, and we had to hit our "I'm here now" thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let us into Wilderness Lodge. Mm-hmm. So same thing with that. You can't get back there. You're supposed to park all the way up front and either walk or take their internal bus to go around even to get in there. So that kind of
they've made it more
cut themselves off.
Yeah. We know somebody who will be there in the next couple of days in this heat.
Mm-hmm.
God, good luck, Jess, and your family.
I hope she's not staying in a tent.
She is. And I've been there. I've been there for Halloween. A friend of mine had a trailer on property. So, but I had to park up front, and then he came on his golf cart, got me, and then we went back, and then we did the little tour.
We were there before COVID. Darlene, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. You, me.
Hold on a second. There's a mosquito here. I got to get this little bugger.
Somebody mute.
Please hold while we swat the mosquito.
I got it. No wonder. I felt like someone was like eating at my legs. I got a mosquito bite on my ankle and it's itching like crazy.
I sent him over.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What was I saying?
We ate at
Wilderness. Going back in the.
Remember, you were able to drive your car around and go through.
Not anymore.
And since COVID, that's kind of gone to the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of fun seeing the decoration. Was that for Christmas? Okay, that's what I thought. It was a lot of fun. It was nice seeing that.
Yeah.
You used to be able to drive almost everywhere.
Yeah.
I have driven on that landing strip that they have. Now it's
Really?
all used for storage. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time we were staying at Wilderness Lodge. It had to have been 2002. And I just was driving around, and next thing I know, I'm back there. You can't get at it anymore. Well, yeah, all that stuff was available.
All right. Anybody else
Might
have
have been before
anything to
that.
add to this show,
In 2000.
or want to mention anything?
Well, there's a restaurant that we didn't talk about that can be very good for kids if you're willing to pay, and that's Topolino's Terrace
Oh yeah,
at the
I have not eaten
Riviera,
there yet.
No, I haven't
especially
eaten there
for the character breakfast. Kids really love it. The food is fabulous there. It is definitely pricier, and you also get the great view from up there. So I think Topolino's Terrace, and it's hard to get into, certainly too. But
Did we talk about sit down restaurants?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. Oh,
Yeah.
Because Olivia's is very good too.
I haven't been there either.
especially for families, yeah.
Mhm.
Did anybody mention 1900 Park Fair?
Well, it's closed right now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's still
Yeah.
closed, but
I'm
that's a really good
surprised.
one for Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
Very
I'm really
awesome.
surprised they
Yeah.
haven't reopened that yet. Really surprised.
Yeah, I think they're working on it. I have eaten at the Enchanted Rose. Hmm.
Are you talking about the storybook dining at Artist Point?
No, Grand Floridian.
Grand Floridian, okay.
Yeah, I've eaten there at their sit
We didn't
down.
mention anything in Grand.
Oh, really? Yeah.
None
My
of us
wife and I
go.
have.
Right. Yeah, we're not hoity-toity enough to go there.
Enchanted Rose is the name of the restaurant. Yes.
Enchanted
Yeah.
Rose. That's what I thought. Yeah, I know I totally forgot I was supposed to do my review on Garden Grill on our news show. So I have to remember to do that.
Our news show that was like 6 minutes long.
I know, and I had all that time.
And I even stretched it a little bit because I gave my personal opinion about Genie Plus again.
Again, huh?
Mm-hmm. Again.
Well, now's a good time if you want to talk about Garden Grill.
Well, it just reopened on the 14th.
But I'm going to put you on hold for a second. Mouse Fan Travel. If you're going to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, take a Disney cruise or Adventure by Disney, or you want just any kind of vacation at all, even if it's not Disney, they've got experts in every aspect of the travel industry. Forget the rest. Go with the very, very best, and that's Mouse Fan Travel. They've got your interest in heart. Put your hands in their hands. They will take you and guide you for the best vacation you've ever had in your entire lives. And you can find out about all their great deals by going to one simple place, their website, and that's www.mousefantravel.com, www.mousefantravel.com. All right, Darlene, you can come off pause.
Okay. So it just opened up on June 14th. It reopened for breakfast, and it was not hard to get a reservation. It was fairly easy because I don't think everybody knew that it was opened again. But now that it's opened, I think it's going to be a little bit harder to get a reservation.
Just quickly, remind me after we get. I don't want to mention this during the show because I don't want people to know about this. But remind me after we're not recording anymore.
Okay.
I mentioned you guys a trick on getting reservations.
Oh, thank you.
And it's legal. It's nothing that you're doing wrong or that will cause somebody to miss out on something. Okay.
So we got a 925 and we got seated right away basically. And our server was very, very pleasant and very, very helpful. We had gotten the sticky buns first. Keith did say, they were a little on the crisp side. He wished there was like a little bit of a drizzle of vanilla frosting or something, confectioner sugar on it or something. And then we got the skillet, and the skillet, the waffles are
Aren't they mini Mickey waffles?
Yeah, they're mini Mickey. They're vegan or something, gluten-free. they're like a wheat based, and it's not the same. Very
I've never
disappointed.
eaten breakfast at the Garden Grill. I've had lunch and dinner there.
Yeah, I had lunch
Yeah.
the last time and I loved it. But they did have flank steak, they had eggs, they had bacon, they had scalloped hash browns that were very good. And then what else do we have? I have to look at my picture. But I mean, we literally did not eat lunch or dinner that night.
Wow.
We were so stuffed. It was just amazing. And a big plate of watermelon they gave us. So if you're listening to us, you won't see the pictures, but if you're watching us on YouTube, these were the sticky buns. Here was the watermelon and the coffee. Here is the skillet. And that was it. And here's me and Harvest Mickey.
They call that the cinnamon breakfast loaf.
Yeah, cinnamon breakfast
Sticky
loaf.
bun.
Yeah, and Chip and Dale, they're just so cute. They love that I wore my shirt too from when I ran. So, but I definitely thought, my husband said he liked both meals very much. I was just disappointed that they switched the recipe for the waffles.
Now, did they have the allergy-friendly waffles for your husband?
He
Is that what they gave you?
he eats the regular ones. That's one thing
Okay.
like at home he'll eat Vans, but when we go out he won't make a big deal about it.
Does it affect?
No, I just bring it up. Yeah, I'm looking at it. They have allergy-friendly waffles. Gluten, wheat, egg, fish, shellfish, milk, peanut, tree nut, sesame, and
Yeah,
soy
that's what I
allergy
think they
free.
gave us, but we didn't list our allergy, and I think that was what was just in. We'll try it. I'll try it again because he did enjoy it. Like I said, we ate there and we didn't eat anything the rest of the day.
Oh, I bet. That's a lot of food.
It was, and we had gotten extra eggs and bacon.
That's how I am when I go to Crystal Palace for breakfast. It's just like I'm done for the day.
Yeah, when you're eating a buffet, guys, don't book like a sit down dinner along with a character like
No.
buffet or
No,
something.
No.
You just can't fit that food in. If you want something, get a churro as you're walking by or a bucket of popcorn. But no, like two meals in one day like that, because it's just way too much.
Kill you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they did give us coffee and juice. So, and they do have a new mimosa and Bloody Mary on the menu. I did not get those.
Because she was already wasted when she sat down for breakfast.
She drank her way around the world and then she went there for breakfast.
Not at
Yeah, that's not
9:25.
possible.
Just opened at
Yeah,
9.
that's not possible. They don't even open those drinks until after 11.
Yeah, no. I think out of all of my meals that I've ever had on Disney property before it changed, our favorite place to always go was the Caribbean Beach Cape May Cafe and their buffet.
It was a good buffet.
It was.
Yeah, I never
It was.
experienced it, so I can't. I don't know what I can't respond to something I don't know about. And
Exactly. That was me with the value resorts.
yeah. If somebody put a gun to your head and you could pick one of each, favorite restaurant in a park and favorite restaurant on property but outside of a park, what would it be? And this is tough. It's not an easy, because I thought about it and it's like, God, there's so many. I have to pick one.
We're talking table service, quick service, anything.
Anything?
Mine changes from day to day is the
Yeah,
problem.
right. And it can. And I get that.
Brown Derby.
In a park.
In a park. Brown Derby.
Definitely a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Out of a park? So Disney Springs or off property?
That's fine. It's on property, but it's not in a park. So one in a park and one outside of a park. I can see the wheels spinning in everybody's.
Yeah.
Viennapoli.
It's a good choice.
My go-to in the
And,
park.
that would have been my number one choice a week ago.
Out of the park, Gideon's Bakehouse. They're making a meal out of it.
There you go. I'll accept that because I did say anything.
You did.
John?
Oh my golly. Well, I think I'm going to start with out of the park for now, and I'm going to go with Topolina's Terrace. I really like the environment. I really like the food there. Whether it's dinner or breakfast, I really like Topolina's Terrace. In a park, oh my gosh, it just changes so much.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would end up picking somewhere in Epcot, but it changes. Oh my gosh. Wow. So well, you know what? This is going to be an odd pick, and I don't even do it.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot all about the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater.
That's what I thought for sure you was going
Yeah,
to.
Well, you know what? That is about my favorite place to eat. But as far as picking a restaurant, one of the places that I don't even really eat there anymore because it's gone to
We are on a time limit, by the way.
I know. Well, you know what? You put this on us. I really like Akershus.
Oh, mm-hmm.
I like the.
It's closed.
Yeah.
I know.
I like the cold bar and the hot bar, but and I don't even get a chance to eat there anymore because I don't like
Closed. You can't eat there anymore.
I know. So you tell me I have to pick. Okay, then I will pick Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater.
Oh god! Well, I could say for me in the park, and it changes all the time. And Viennapoli is usually number one, but I tell you, I love Garden Grill, and Beer Garden's another favorite of mine.
Oh yeah, Beer Garden. Yeah,
but I love Garden Grill, especially
Garden
for
Grill.
lunch or dinner. Outside of a park, oh boy, the best meal I ever had outside of the park was Flying Fish. But I love Whispering Canyon Cafe. John, I was just there recently, so because I was there recently, I'm going to go with Whispering Canyon Cafe.
Even though you're-
I haven't been there in years. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with, if I have to pick I'm going to pick, I've always found good food at the Boathouse.
See, the Boathouse, I've always had good food there, but I know people, including some members of my own family, who decide to try some things that are on the menu, and you going like, "Oh, don't do that," and they do it anyway, and they wind up regretting it.
Yeah.
And see, that's why I can't eat there, because you don't go to a fish house and order chicken.
Yeah, well, don't be shellfish.
Well, I don't have a choice.
Their crab cakes are awesome.
They are.
Really good.
I believe you.
You know where else is that we really never talk about is Wine Bar George.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Oh, you haven't?
Why?
I've been, and the food was good.
How do you know if you've been drinking so much wine?
That's why the food was so good.
Right.
And actually, George came by and said hello to me and Keith, which was really cool.
George Clooney.
No.
Oh, okay.
Or George.
No. It was very
Do you
nice.
really
He
wanna
comes
hurt
table
me?
to table and asks if everything's okay.
So does Boy George still refer to himself as Boy George, or did he finally
Yes.
grow up?
No, he's still. As of a couple years ago, we actually saw him. It was all the '80s rock. We saw them with the B-52s, who sounded a lot better. And he was still Boy George.
Wow. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the B-52s. I don't know why, but they still got it. They can barely stand up. They're in their late 70s. They were like sitting around doing it, but hey, they got it. They sounded great.
You know, some performers age well and can still continue to play. And, you know, I love Springsteen. He'll be my favorite to the day I die. You know, and then there are others that they lose a step here or there. I'm not going to mention anybody because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But, you know, it's, you know, kudos to all those performers who've been performing for not just 10 years or 20 years, but 40 going on 50 years, and they still got it.
Frank Sinatra walked in to the bar where he had his residency in Vegas, and they were playing a recording that he had done the night before. And he walked in the door and he said, "Who is this guy trying to impersonate me? He sounds horrible." And they said, "Frank, this was you last night." And he retired on the spot.
Wow.
That was the story anyways.
I got a Frank Sinatra
I'm
story
done.
for you. My parents' favorite performer or singer was Frank Sinatra. They'd never seen, my parents never went anywhere. So for their 25th anniversary, my brother and I sent them to Atlantic City to a hotel for a couple of nights, and we got them tickets to see Frank Sinatra. And they absolutely loved it. And it's like one of the things that I'm so glad my brother and I were able to do for my parents, because my father died not much longer after that.
Yeah. I went to see Simple Plan on Saturday. Now, they've been around for 24 years, believe it or not. And they just released their newest album last year. So they're still releasing new stuff, which is amazing. And they sounded great, and they catered to the audience very well.
Good.
I'm glad I got a chance to see him again.
I was supposed to go tonight to see them, and I forgot, and I scheduled these shows, and I didn't want to unschedule the shows because I didn't want to put anybody out. So
I thought you were going Friday.
No, I couldn't go Friday. Friday, another commitment. But I'll find them somewhere along the line and get to see them eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tony Orlando is still talking his way through Tie a Yellow Ribbon.
You know, Tony Orlando was cute for about 5 seconds in the 1970s.
I don't think he's coming this year.
Yeah, I mean,
he was there.
He was there.
He was there.
But I don't think he's
have
coming
Dawn
this
with
year.
him anymore. Dawn was the
No,
reason you'd go see him, but now
it was just Tony. Someone posted a video on it was either Instagram or Facebook, one or the other.
That's Tony Orlando.
He
and
was there
Sons.
recently, yeah. I can't wait for the what is the Eat to the Beat concert series coming up?
Yes.
At Disney. That should be pretty good.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, I think we're gonna get.
Yeah, I think we're off track.
Yeah, I think we're off track now.
I think we finished the track and we started to build a new track. We're going to do a in-park, out-of-park, whatever dessert show soon. It may not be next week, but we'll do it soon. I'd like to do it when Lottie's here as well. So I think I'll try to find that first one. She'll be on the next show. And we'll do it the next one where all 5 of us are there. All right. We're out of here. Everybody, have a happy 4th of July weekend for those celebrating. Because we won't be back until after that. I think we're going to do another show next week. There won't be a news show next week, but I think we'll do a regular show next week. What can I say, everybody? Be safe. Always be yourself. Bye-bye.
Happy 4th. Good night, everybody.
We almost didn't talk about it today, and I was still going to do it, but we did talk about 1900 Park Fair, so I have to share. It's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. We hope that you have a great and jolly holiday when you go to Walt Disney World, and that you come back, see us next week.
Have a magical night. Stay safe. Happy 4th of July. And remember to pack that sunscreen and a poncho for those rainy days that happen.